Cory Booker just called out one of the most dangerous forms of corruption we've ever seen. A president literally creating a cryptocurrency that can be bought by anyone, even foreign powers, while selling access to the White House. This isn't innovation. This is the weaponization of greed, and it could redefine corruption forever.
Thank you, Senator Booker.
I'm grateful. I think if anything we're hearing in this committee is the urgency for a market structure bill that provides the appropriate regulation. I want to jump in right away, though. Mr. Mossad, you said something that to me maybe was an understatement. I never imagined in my life I would see the President of the United States create a digital asset that is open to being purchased, a meme coin that could be purchased by anybody, anywhere, from our adversaries, our rivals, from people trying to curry favor with the United States, from people who are looking for military deals, and to literally sell seats to a dinner at the White House, at the Americans' one of the more sacred civic spaces. To me, this amounts to a level of galling corruption never, ever before imagined that could happen in our country, and we're normalizing it. It is corrupt, it is dangerous, it is an attack on our democracy, it's a violation of the Emoluments Clause, and it is undermining this industry as a whole. Would you agree with me that my language is perhaps more appropriate?
I would totally agree with you, and I've said similar things. The meme coins are a perfect bribery tool because they're out there. Someone can buy them and therefore, provide essentially money to the president, yet still claim, well, I'm just speculating on a meme coin.
Would you agree that the way our Constitution was designed, the legislative branch is supposed to provide checks and balances and oversight, and the fact that the United States Senate, has not had one oversight hearing of this corruption is a surrendering of our obligations and duties under the Constitution.
It's shocking to me. I mean, he's making billions of dollars, not just from the meme coin, but from his own stable coin. Even the meme coins have been called by the creator of Ethereum. The creator of Ethereum has called them a bribery tool.
I think it's appalling that Congress has laid down. I think it is extraordinarily dangerous. And I
would agree.
am beyond frustrated that we are normalizing this level of corruption in America and have the most corrupt president imaginable who is making hundreds and hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, profiting off of the presidency at the very national security risk that it proposes to our country, when he can make decisions that affect truly the safety and security of our country, as many of these countries are trying to curry favor and have deals. That doesn't even begin to mention the Trump hotels and all the other things that he is doing that truly undermine any idea of what it means to operate in the presidency with integrity. I want to jump really quick, Mr. Benham, because I'm very deeply engaged and involved in trying to make sure that we land something that could deal with a lot of the challenges. The one thing that hasn't been discussed, as you and I talked about this ad nauseum, is the CFTC's capacity to regulate this area. Right now, we have seen budget requests for a 2.9% decrease in funds from its 2024 request and a 5.1% decrease in personnel, which is on top of cuts made earlier this year by DOGE that threatens the CFTC's ability to oversee the $120 trillion equity and debt markets it's already responsible for, without even adding the growing crypto market into the equation as is envisioned. The House's Clarity Act would expand the CFTC's jurisdiction without a single additional dollar. It will create chaos for retail consumers in our markets, I believe both crypto and in traditional finance. Am I right to be outraged that this is how we're starting without understanding the resources that would be necessary to do what a lot of us are envisioning?
Senator, short answer is yes. I mean, the #1 priority if we're going to authorize new authority for an agency, the CFTC here, is funding and resources so that it can execute those responsibilities?
Well, I will tell you this right now. I want to lean in a bipartisan way and craft market regulation. But this is what I see right now. I see senators and congresspeople trading stocks and bonds, people who are involved in the crypto world. I see, again, I have legislation with a number of other senators that really say very clearly that we should be doing everything we can as a matter of integrity to stop corruption, that we should introduce and pass the End Crypto Corruption Act, which would make sure the president, vice president, senior executive branch members of Congress and their immediate families, that stops them from financially benefiting from issuing, endorsing, or sponsoring crypto assets such as meme coins. So we have this air of corruption that undermines the integrity of Congress and the presidency at a level of corruption we have never seen before. And the very regulatory bodies that should be overseeing these massive markets is being starved of resources to even do the jobs they're doing right now. Any serious effort to engage in the kind of a market structure bill we are having without putting the resources that we've discussed in the past. In the bill that we had in the last Congress, a bipartisan bill, we had a way of addressing this. And so there are a lot of structural problems I have right now, and the level and possibility of corruption, of scams, of people that could get hurt if we don't do this right is stunning to me, not to mention the very foundations of our democratic system so that we don't become some corrupt banana republic where presidents and senators and congresspeople can bilk the American people by bending the rules, corrupting the rules for their own benefit. We have got to do things different.
Cory Booker just went off, and rightfully so, because what he's talking about here isn't some abstract ethical debate. It's a direct assault on the integrity of the American presidency and the foundations of democracy itself. Let's be clear, when the President of the United States creates a cryptocurrency that anyone, anywhere in the world can buy, that's not innovation. That's corruption in plain sight. You're essentially allowing foreign governments, lobbyists, and private interests to buy influence through a digital loophole. It's bribery, decentralized, untraceable, and totally unchecked. Booker is calling out something that has no historical precedent. No U.S. president has ever been allowed to profit so openly, so brazenly, from the very office they once held, let alone through an asset that literally turns access to power into a market commodity. And what makes it worse is that our oversight bodies, the ones meant to stop this, are being gutted. The CFTC, the same agency that's supposed to regulate this trillion-dollar digital market, is being starved of resources while the political elite experiment with a new way to sell influence and skirt accountability. This is more than a crypto story. It's a warning about what happens when capitalism fuses completely with political power. It's when corruption stops hiding in the shadows and starts minting tokens. Booker's outrage isn't just about Trump. It's about a system that's growing numb to corruption. A system that lets billionaires and politicians play with the rules while average Americans pay the price. We're watching the normalization of something dangerous, the monetization of public office, the slow drift from democracy to kleptocracy. And if Americans don't start caring about this now, if Congress keeps pretending this is business as usual, we won't just lose oversight, we'll lose legitimacy. So yes, Booker's furious, but he's also right. Because when corruption gets tokenized, democracy gets sold off one meme coin at a time. If you value real accountability, subscribe to Left Lens, because the truth still matters. And it's up to us to keep it alive.